Yeah, so I'm here today. I'm going to share some ideas and things that our organization, Disaster Hack, is up to, and how we're using technology and art together to make a long-term impact in rural villages. And if you've read on my thing, okay, yeah, nice, it's up there, yeah. If you read on the little pamphlet to hang out, I actually work for this organization called Burning Man. I'm not sure if has anybody ever heard of Burning Man? Yeah. It's a crazy place. And people always ask me, what is Burning Man? And I really don't have a good answer for you. I can't really explain. It's like trying to explain what Nepal is like before you've actually been here. You can be like, oh, the people are amazing, and the culture's lovely, and the mountains are beautiful, and the rivers are amazing. Like, they're absolutely amazing. But until you actually arrive in Nepal, you have no idea what Nepal is. And so the same is true for Burning Man, only I think it's a little bit more radical. And so I'm going to share with you my first experience at Burning Man, and that'll kind of maybe give you an idea of what Burning Man is about. But I arrived at Burning Man, and it was our first time there, and it was dark. As you can see, Burning Man happens in the middle of a desert in Nevada. And I arrived in the desert, and I decided I was going to go out for a walk and explore the city of Black Rock. And so I did. I started walking outdoors, and there was a car in the distance. I'm not sure what it was, an art car. So there's no normal cars. They're all crazy cars. They're just totally crazy. And I'm seeing this car in the distance, and it's going this direction, and I'm walking this direction. And the next thing I know, this car makes a sharp turn and comes directly headed for me. And I'm like, what is going on? There's no roads. Why is this car coming directly at me? And I have no idea. I'm a little worried what's happening. And the car approaches. It gets maybe 2 feet away, or I guess it would be like a meter away. And there's all this music happening on the back, and there are people partying and dancing. But as it approaches me, it's about a meter away, all of a sudden these giant flames shoot up over top of my head. And as it turns out, it was a giant penis car shooting flames over top of my head. Now, I am just saying that is what Burning Man is. I can't really explain it to you, and yes, there are penis cars there that shoot flames out, but other than that, I mean, I'll give you a little rundown anyway. So Burning Man is a city of 70,000 people. It's the third largest city in the state of Nevada for a week. And it's crazy. It's a temporary city. It's gone. It rises and goes away. And at Burning Man, we do a lot of crazy things. What makes Burning Man so special is, like, Burning Man, you're allowed to be whoever you want to be. In fact, and it's my job to make it easy for you to be whoever you want to be. So you can go crazy. You can dress in these crazy suits, dance around like idiots, or, you can dress in these suits and act like idiots too. It doesn't really matter. Either way, the common thing is idiots. But the other thing we do that's really amazing, the thing that we really do there that makes Burning Man kind of world known and renowned is the art. We build amazing giant art. It's all over the place. It's really, really it's amazing. I really like this piece here. It's one of my favorites. Here's an art car. It's called El Pulpo Mecanico, and it's a giant octopus that shoots flames and moves around. It's crazy. And we all get together and we build these giant sculptures. And then at the very end of the festival, we get together and we burn them to the ground. And I don't know why we do it, but it's pretty cool. And I can't wait. In 10 days, I fly back, and it's going to be really, really cool. I fly back, and I'll be working there for the month, and then I'll come back. But that's what we do at Burning Man. But the thing that really also makes Burning Man really cool is it's kind of like it's an experiment in culture, and it's almost a new social contract. It's probably the most evolutionary thing that's going on the planet, perhaps culturally speaking. And basically, it's a new social contract where, again, the entire thing is based upon love and acceptance of other people. You can be whoever you want to be there, and you can do whatever you want to do. I don't care what you do there. You can do all of the drugs in the world. I don't care. Do it. Do it. I don't care. I'm not going to do that, but do it. You can walk around naked all day long. Again, I don't care. I'm not going to hang out with you very much. But do it. It's cool. In fact, if you don't do it and you want to do it, you're doing it wrong. Get naked. So anyway, I'm not here to really, I'm kind of here to talk about Burning. Oh, so that was a little early. But the reason I'm here is because I'm also going to share some ideas. I'm here working on trying to develop rural disaster zones. I'm trying to do it in a kind of an innovative way that I actually don't know anyone else in the world that's doing it, and I'm really hoping it works because it's kind of crazy. But the reason the idea started like a lot of other good ideas. I don't know if you've ever had a good idea alone in a bathroom. I did. This one started alone in a bathroom. And I don't know, it's good or bad, but the moment was so intense and so absurd that it struck me so hard. The next thing I know is I found myself standing outside in the middle of a major city, and all of these people, and I was half naked, dripping wet, and all these people were pointing and laughing at me. And I'm like, what is, oh my God, I'm like, oh, they're looking at me, oh. And I could tell in their eyes that they were laughing and it was funny for them, but at the same time, it was a really uneasy moment and they were really stressed out. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't because my naked body was standing there like this in front of everybody. This is actually a picture. But the reason everybody was uneasy was because it was 11:57 in the morning on April the 25th, and we had all just survived the most deadly earthquake in Nepal. And so what happened afterwards is crazy. I don't know if any of you guys ended up leading in grassroots relief organization, but for some reason, somebody elected me to do that, and it was insane. It was a nightmare. Dealing with the logistics of finding tarps in a country where the communications are still down, the internet's not working, electricity's down. It was a pure nightmare, and it was and not just a logistical one, it was an actual one. When you're worried about 150 volunteers going out into the rural villages, delivering aid to people, when there's aftershocks and landslides and collapsed buildings, all of these things, it was a pure nightmare. And there were times where I actually thought to myself, maybe I died during the earthquake and this is hell. And if this is hell, why are tarps the fundamental point of my own suffering? I don't get it. I still don't get it. I hate tarps. If you like tarps, it's cool. We can still be friends, but I hate tarps. Nonetheless, we survived it, and everybody went home. We did a great job. We delivered aid to thousands of people, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And but everybody went home to their different parts. We were mostly Westerners because I just happen to be a Westerner, and Westerners kind of, get together when things happen. They're like, hey, it's cool, yeah, so that's kind of what happened. Anyway, it was just totally amazing. It was totally amazing, and we did all of these wonderful things. But I went home to the United States to work. I went directly from a disaster zone to Burning Man, which is the craziest transition you can ever have in your life. I'm telling you, it's insane. But it was pretty magical. And I went back and I started thinking about how I could help Nepal in the long term, and how I could make a difference in the lives of the people that suffered from the disaster. And there was a couple of major things. At first I was like, we're going to go back and rebuild schools. Oh man, there's nothing more humanitarian than building a school. I'm telling you. You're going to get old and you'll be like, oh, this one time I built a school and all of these kids are getting educated and now it's beautiful and wonderful. And I thought about that and I realized that's probably not the best investment I could make. I realized that if I'm going to spend $30,000 or 30 lakh on a school building that produces 70 to 80% dropout rates, I might have a better idea of how I'd invest my money. And so I started working on it. And the other major revelation I had before I decided what we were actually going to do was, the other major revelation was, what is the real problem Nepal is facing? And I realized early on that the real problem Nepal is facing after the earthquake was not that 1.5 million homes need rebuilt and were destroyed. That's not the problem. The real problem is a lack of economic opportunity and economic self-sufficiency, because if there was economic self-sufficiency in Nepal and rural villages, no one would need to go help rebuild homes. They would be rebuilding their own homes. And so I realized at that moment the best thing I could do was empower people to rebuild their own homes rather than rebuild their homes for them. Because if a disaster happens in another 10 years, another thing happens and another house needs rebuilt, it's going to be in the same place. It's important to rebuild Nepal to be economically self-sufficient, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I come from a tech background. I work for Burning Man, and I do IT for them. So I set up all of the IT infrastructure. I set up the wireless networks. I set up all the computers, make sure the databases are all working for everybody, and make sure the entire city. We have an airport, a hospital, a DMV. We've got the police there, the FBI come, I think, and all of these other crazy. But I set up the IT infrastructure for the organization. So I've been working in startups pretty much my whole professional career, and so tech was obviously the answer when I decided, like, okay, we're going to basically start start a nonprofit organization whose end goal is to create jobs. It's not about creating the education to get the jobs. We just want to create the jobs, right? And so what we decided to do is start a tech business. So we're starting a web design and web development business and an app development company that's basically located in a rural village. And the idea is we're going to enable the outsourcing of services from Western countries to rural disaster zones to empower them economically speaking. Like this is, it's smart outsourcing. It's pointed outsourcing. It's intentional. It's intentional. And I chose IT for a couple of different reasons. One, A, I know it. B, it's got a huge growth potential. Technology is not going away anytime fast. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going to be in everything. It's going to be in the lights. It's going to be in the heaters. In fact, a lot of places it already is. It's everywhere. It's not going to get smaller. The other major reason I chose it is because it's got a really low cost of entry. If you want to start a tech business, you can start it for maybe $200 or 20,000 rupees. All you need is internet access and a computer and some skills. And if you don't have the skills, you can get them on the internet. So it is the cheapest the cheapest business to get involved, so it has the most entrepreneurial possibilities for people, which is another major reason I chose it. The other major reason about technology is that you can actually learn coding very fast. I know a lot of people are very scared of the idea of learning code, but it's actually pretty easy. You can learn it in a couple of months, and you can design your own websites. You can set up your own database. It takes four to 6 months at the most to learn the basics of a computer language. That'll give you enough skills to actually be employed to do something. And so it's fast. It has the potential to develop countries very fast, very fast. There's no other industry, there's no other skill that will come close to this. This is I think it's going to be how the world changes and how the world actually develops. But the other major thing, the major reason was that it is, you can do it from anywhere. You're not like held in by geographical location. You don't have to do it over here because over here there's goats and over here there's not goats. And you're not like limited by the local economy. You can actually tap into other economies outside of where you are. But at that point I realized not everybody's going to learn how to code. It's going to be like 5 or 10 people in a village are going to learn how to code, and that's great, and that's awesome. We wanted to facilitate and empower people's economic self-sufficiency for everybody in the village if they wanted. So what we decided to do is start hacker spaces in remote villages. So now a hacker space is just a place where people, hackers, get together and they try to solve problems with technology using creative, ingenious like options and solutions. But they use technology. And in our hacker spaces, you can find everything from skills and ideas to resource and equipment. And our hacker spaces are custom tailored to disaster zones. They come equipped with bamboo treatment machines, compressed earth brick machines, a sawmill to produce your own lumber, a welding shop, carpentry, sewing machines, all the way down to drones and 3D printers. We're doing all of those things. It's really important for us to empower people with technology, and I think that is what technology is. Technology is not the end, the solution. It is not the thing that's the most important, but it is the thing that will empower people to do, to create things and make their own dreams, and that's why technology is really cool. But again, technology is not the end all. There's another thing that I started to think about and started to worry about. It's the culture. If you take technology to a place that has never seen technology before and you give it to them, there's no tech culture there. People don't understand necessarily how to look at technology, to see what kind of possibility it has, to see how it can be used. And so what we're doing is we're basically starting a hack school where what we do is we teach technology by trying to hack humanitarian problems. So our main goal is to create a culture of humanitarian hackers in a remote village. And all they do is they try to tackle problems, humanitarian problems, using technology. So this is our first project. Her name is Sabita. And the reason we chose this is in Dulakal. This is a home for the disabled, or a school for the disabled.
I was 12 year old, and one day I go up a house top there to pick dry clothes. It was dry, and there was a iron rod, So I touched by mistakenly that rod and I have gotten shocked.
Touching the electric,
Yeah,
the high voltage
11,000
power line.
volt of. I have shocked that much. When I was alright, I want to be a successful doctor. I want to help each other and I want to help like disabled people. But today I am disabled, so I can't. I don't want to remember to be a doctor.
I asked her next what she wanted to tell the world, and this is what she said.
I want to say, don't tease helpless people. They can do everything what disabled people can do.
So what we're doing for Sabita is we're doing this cool thing, and it's part of this idea of like introducing technology as a way to make change and to do humanitarian change. And so we're printing her one of these. We're going to print her 3D prosthetics so she can actually use things. And the idea is to empower people with technology. Thanks. Thank you. We're really excited. We're really excited. Really excited. We have a bunch of other projects we're working on, like the delivery of emergency medical supplies with drones, and all of these other things. We want to make a compressed earth brick machine for under $100 so we can hand them out to the villages and they can rebuild their home for a much cheaper price. Again, but all of the projects that we do are part of our hack school, and they're not, the tech is really cool. Like, I love technology. I love a 3D printer. I love a drone. I could sit in front of my computer for days. I do sit in front of my computer for days. And it's not that great. It's not the end goal. Like, it's not the most important thing. And so we realized there was something more important than technology. And so our very first project, when we showed up to a Dolica and where we're building our hackerspace, was this project. So this was on May, the video was taken on May 12th in Dolica. And so we got together, and I met with the elders of the village before we did this, and I said, is it all right if we build a giant sculpture and then do things with it? And so we built the Nepalese word chinta, and as you know, it means worry or stress. It was 8 days it took us to build this thing. And we had no idea where we were going to do it. The elders were like, you should burn it by the cemetery. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about burning it next to the cemetery. But right before we burnt it down, 100 kids came up and wrote their worries onto Chinta. And then we got together
Ain't got no cash, ain't got no
and burnt it down.
Ain't got no gal to make you smile.
They went crazy. It was amazing. Thank you.
When you're worried, your face will frown.
But, you know, there's more important things than technology.
So don't worry.
And that's humans. And that's the most important thing to remember. And, you know, I don't think technology is what actually changes the world. I'm sure of it. It's not technology that changes the world. It's something else. It's something more important, and that sort of thing. And these are like this is one of them. Like this is what it's about, right? Like I just wish I could laugh like these kids.
Don't worry.
It's just so beautiful. So what our organization is doing is we're trying to develop rural disaster zones with technology and empower people with technology so that they can take control of their own lives, economically speaking. So we're developing local economies, but even more so than that, it's not technology that's going to change the world, it's people. And so we're developing local economies, but even more so, we're trying to develop dreams. And I just want to thank you so much for letting me talk today, and cheers.